So you've seen the ads, right? The $700 reverse osmosis system that promises to save your hormones, detox your cells, and protect your family from invisible threats.
Meanwhile, your neighbor swears by her $30 pitcher.
And your mom still drinks straight from the tap like it's 1987.
Which one of them is doing it right?
Here's the truth. Most people don't need the fanciest filters.
They need the right filter for what's actually in their water,
And that starts with knowing what you're filtering in the first place.
which almost nobody does.
So today we're going to fix that.
Welcome back to the Healthy Enough Edit. I'm Dr. Gio Nelson.
And I'm Dr. Pam Nelson. We're married, we're parents, and we're naturopathic doctors.
So today we're going to be breaking down water filters, what actually matters, and what's just expensive theater.
And how to choose the right one without getting sold something you don't need.
So let's put this into perspective.
All right, so water filtering marketing thrives on vague fear,
You know, the type that screams, remove 99.9% of all contaminants.
which sounds impressive.
Until you realize that they're not telling you which contaminants.
Or whether those contaminants are even in your water.
Right, because if I filter out 99.9% of something that isn't there to begin with,
You just bought an expensive placebo.
exactly. So the first question isn't what's the best filter,
It's what's actually in my water.
right? And most people skip this step entirely.
They go straight from seeing a scary ad to buying a $700 system without ever looking at their local water report.
Okay, so let's talk about what actually matters when it comes to water quality.
There are really 5 main categories to think about.
First up, let's start with lead and heavy metals.
Lead doesn't change how water tastes or looks, but it is linked to developmental or neurological harm, especially in kids.
And here's the thing, it usually comes from old pipes, not the water treatment facilities. So if you have older plumbing or a positive lead test, you need a filter certified for lead reduction. This is also assuming your state doesn't have any programs available to support source control for lead pipe remediation, or if you're unable to have the pipes changed on your own. When filtering, look out for NSF or the ANSI 53 or 58 on the label.
Second on the list is microbes, particularly if you're on well water or during advisories. City water is typically disinfected, so day-to-day microbial risk is low. But if you're on a private well or under a boil at water advisory, parasites like Giardia and Cryptosporidium require filters with an absolute pore size of 1 micron or smaller. Bacteria and viruses need even tighter filtration, like reverse osmosis or UV.
Third are PFAS, the forever chemicals. There are some legitimate concerns in some regions, but not every advanced filter actually reduces them. You need a filter with specific PFAS compounds listed on the performance sheets. Usually the NSF 53 or 58 will have some named PFOs on there, as well as other specific compounds. Any vague claims about emerging contaminants just don't count.
Fourth are chemicals flagged on your water report. If your annual consumer confidence report shows elevated arsenic, nitrates, or disinfection byproducts, reverse osmosis or specific carbon filters can help.
And if nothing's flagged,
You probably don't need industrial strength filtration.
and lastly, in fifth place is taste and odor. Chlorine makes water smell like a pool, and usually people drink more water if it tastes better. So a simple NSF 42 certified pitcher handles this just fine.
But it won't protect you from lead or PFAs unless it's also certified for those.
So the main takeaway here is check those labels.
Okay, so here's the nuance most people miss.
NSF tested isn't the same thing as being certified to a specific standard.
Right, a filter certified only for taste, NSF 42, is not appropriate if you need to reduce lead or PFAs.
You need a NSF 53 or 58 for those,
So you have to actually read the label, not just trust the marketing on the front of the box.
which is annoying.
But necessary.
All right, so here's what the slick marketing conveniently skips.
The upfront price is only the beginning.
Most water filters, they actually have a required replacement cartridges.
And those cartridges can become a significant recurring expense.
A $30 picture might need a $15 replacement every 2 to 3 months or so.
An under sink system might need $80 to $150 in cartridges annually.
Reverse osmosis systems often require multiple filter changes at different intervals.
And the membrane itself may need to be replaced every few years.
So you really have to do the math before you buy.
A cheap system with expensive cartridges can cost more over 2 years than a pricier system with lower maintenance costs.
And here's why this matters just beyond your wallet.
If you can't afford to change the filters on schedule, you're not just wasting money.
You are potentially actually drinking through a saturated or even contaminated membrane or filter that's no longer doing its job.
And some filters can even become breeding grounds for bacteria if they're left unchanged.
So our take is you need to factor in replacement costs into your decision from day one.
A filter you can't afford to maintain is not protecting anyone.
All right, so we've covered what matters and what the hidden costs are.
Now we're going to walk you through exactly how to pick the right filter.
Step by step, so stay with us.
Step 1 is to get your actual data.
If you're on city water, your utility publishes an annual consumer confidence report. Just Google your city and followed by water report or visit the utility's website. If you're on well water, we should already be testing annually for coliform bacteria, nitrates, and some region-specific contaminants. And if you want more detail, you can use the ewg.org tap water database. Punch in your zip code and you'll get a breakdown of potential contaminants within your local municipal water supply. It's more granular than what the utility reports give you, and it'll tell you if there's some things that are worth filtering out and what you can just ignore in terms of marketing noise. The step 2 is basically matching your filter to those specific needs.
Taste or odor only an NSF42 basic picture or faucet filter. For lead, metals, or PFAS, an NSF53 or 58, or an under sink or reverse osmosis with specific contaminant claims. Emerging contaminants like pharmaceuticals or herbicides, an NSF401 is great. And then for microbes or well water, or if you're immunocompromised, an NSFP231 is great as well. Then step 3 is to calculate the real cost.
Right. Before purchasing, find out how often the cartridges need to be replaced, what's the cost per cartridge or set of cartridges, and whether you need professional installation or maintenance, and what the annual cost over 2 or 3 years might be, not just the upfront cost. If all that checks out, then move on to step 4. Make sure that you commit to the maintenance.
That's right, because any filter becomes useless or a germ trap if you don't change the cartridges on schedule. So be sure to set up reminders because this is not optional. All right, so here's the verdict.
You don't need to filter everything.
You need to filter the few things that actually show up in your water.
And if your tests show clean and you're not dealing with old lead plumbing or you're on a private well,
A simple taste filter or no filter at all is perfectly fine.
if you have some documented exposure concerns, match your filter to the Certified Performance Database filter.
No fear-based sales tactic.
And make sure that you can actually afford the ongoing maintenance.
Here's your permission slip. Drink tap water that meets safety standards, even without a filter.
It's not poisoning your family.
You're allowed to prioritize what's realistic, not what's optimal.
So let's wrap with what's overhyped versus what's helpful.
Overhype usually has some detox claims, military-grade branding with no certifications, or high-pressure sales demos with color-changing tests that don't reflect real risk.
And what's helpful are independent certifications, the NSF and ANSI standards. Your local water reports are great, and filters that are designed for specific contaminants you've actually identified.
And what's the 80-20 takeaway?
Know your water, match the filter to the problem, budget for replacement cartridges, and change them on time.
Everything else is expensive theater. All right, rapid fire. Water questions.
Let's do it.
Do Brita filters remove lead?
Only if they're certified for lead reduction. Check this specific model. Not all Brita filters are the same.
Are reverse osmosis systems worth it?
If you have documented PFAS, arsenic, or heavy metal concerns, yes. If not, it's probably overkill.
What about alkaline water filters?
So there's minimal evidence for health benefits here. Save your money unless you prefer the taste.
What about fridge filters versus pitcher filters?
Both can work pretty well. You just want to check the certifications. Fridge filters are pretty convenient because, especially if you change them on schedule.
And do I need a filter in my shower?
Only if you have very high chlorine or some sensitive skin issues. Most people don't need this.
What's the one thing people waste money on?
Buying a filter without reading their water report first.
Every time.
All right, so let's do a quick recap.
Sometimes water filter marketing thrives on vague fear. Don't fall for it.
Get your actual water data first. Consumer confidence reports or the ewg.org database.
Match your filter to certified standards for the contaminants that you've actually identified.
Calculate the real costs, including replacement cartridges over 2 to 3 years.
And commit to maintenance. A filter you don't maintain is worse than no filter at all.
If your water tests clean, tap water without a filter is perfectly fine.
You're not poisoning anyone. You're just being realistic.
If you want a more calm, evidence-informed take on low-tox living, subscribe and hit the bell icon.
Thank you for watching.
See you guys next week.